Commander Velk of the Cavalry Dominion stood on the high balcony of the control tower, looking down at the planet Jalara. To him it was just another weak world, another quiet place filled with soft, gentle beings who did not fight. The Virulence were peaceful. It's peaceful. They had not resisted when his ships arrived. They had not fought back when his soldiers took control of the energy mines. They'd simply asked for help from others who would never come. Velk laughed to himself. Fools, he said under his breath. No one cares about them. His assistant Rack stepped forward nervously. Commander, we've received reports. 3 outposts on the far side of the planet have gone dark. Velk raised an eyebrow. Technical problems? We're not sure, Rack replied. They went offline within minutes of each other. No distress signals, no damage reports. Velk waved a hand. Send a drone. It's probably just virulent nonsense. Their systems are old. But deep inside, a strange feeling touched his mind. A small, unwelcome thought. What if someone had come? At the edge of Yalara's atmosphere, invisible to the cavalry sensors, Earth's fleet Solara waited. The ships floated in complete silence. Their hulls shimmered with energy. From a distance, they looked like stars but alive watching. Admiral Leon Hart stood on the bridge of the Solara Prime. Around him, officers prepared silently. No weapons were armed, no missiles loaded. This was not an attack. This was a message. We'll begin orbit passes above the villages, the communications officer said. No noise, no lights, just visibility. Leon nodded. Let them. No, we're here. Let them know we stand with them. Down below in the village square, Elder Marianne felt something shift in the wind. He looked up. The sky was changing. Shadow moved across the sun, but it was not dark. It was soft, quiet, graceful like a bird spreading its wings. Children pointed. Farmers dropped their tools. Everyone looked up. Ilya whispered, It's them, Earth's ships. Marin didn't speak, simply placed his hand on his heart and closed his eyes. After so long, after so many days of fear, the stars finally looked kind again. Back in the cavalry control tower, alarms suddenly lit up. Rack ran to the screen. Commander, we're detecting movement in orbit. Massive vessels, known design. Velk narrowed his eyes. Show me. The screen flickered. And then he saw them. Earth's fleet. Elegant. Strong. Silent. Dozens of ships gliding like silver birds above the planet. Rack stepped back in fear. Commander, are those humans? Gelk clenched his jaw. Impossible. Earth hasn't left their sector in decades. They don't interfere. And yet here they were. Inside the Solara Prime, Sarah watched the planet below on the screen. She had asked Leon to bring her along not as an officer, but as someone who had heard the call first. Now, she stood beside him, quiet, eyes filled. With emotion, You really came, she said. Leon looked at her. Because you reminded me why we exist. A message was prepared. No demands. Just a statement. Sarah spoke into the mic, her voice calm and steady. To the people of Yalara, Earth hears you. You are not alone. To the Cavalry Dominion, you are violating a protected world. We are here to stand for peace. Velk read the message twice. His face grew pale. Is this a joke? He shouted. They dare threaten us without firing a single shot. Rack looked unsure. Their ships have unusual technology. Our scans show power beyond our systems. Velk turned to his guards. Ready our defenses? But the guards hesitated. One of them, a younger cavalry named Liko, looked out the window and saw the ships. They're not here to fight, Liko said. They're here because they care, Velk barked. You sound like one of them. But deep down, fear crept into Velk's heart. This was not a military threat. This was something worse for him. It was hope. Hope was powerful. Elder Marine received Earth's message through the village tower. His hands shook as he read. The words aloud. We are not alone, he said. They came. Earth came. Tears filled many eyes. Even the children understood. Something beautiful had happened. It's not just rescue but connection. Across the field, virulent families gathered to watch the sky. They didn't cheer. They didn't shout. They simply stood together in silence, feeling something they hadn't felt in weeks: safety. In space, Leon looked over the latest scans. Cavalry systems were shutting down. Their ships were slowly backing away. No weapons had been fired. No threats needed. Earth had shown up. That was enough. He turned to Sarah and smiled. They assumed no one would come. Sarah smiled back. They were wrong. Elder Marine sat beneath the tall tree in the center of the village. The same tree he had planted with his old friend Naomi Hart from Earth so many years ago. Its leaves whispered in the soft wind, but his heart was still heavy. Even though the Earth fleet now circled above Yalara, he felt something missing, something deeper than safety. He missed her. Naomi had promised to return someday. She had promised that Earth would remember. And now they had. But still, she wasn't here. He didn't know where she had gone, or if she was even alive. Marin closed his eyes and whispered, "You sent them, didn't you, Naomi? I just wish I could talk to you again." Above the planet, the great ships of Fleet Solara moved slowly, carefully. Their presence calmed the skies. No missiles. No battle sounds. Just light motion and the silent promise of protection. Admiral Leon Hart stood on the command bridge of Solara Prime, watching the planet below. "Are the land teams ready?" he asked. "Yes, sir," the officer replied. "Medical food. Translators, power techs. No weapons." Leon nodded. "Then let's begin." Quietly, kindly. He turned to Sarah, who stood beside him. "I'm just thinking about all those people. How scared they must have felt. How alone." Leon lowered his voice. "We used to feel that way too, before Earth turned inward." Sarah looked up at him. "Do you think we can change that?" Leon gave a small smile. "We already have." Downed. On Yalara, the people looked up in amazement as small human shuttles began to land near the village. They were round, quiet, and smooth like flowing metal. No weapons. No soldiers. Just people. Human doctors stepped out first, wearing soft suits and carrying supplies. Behind them came translators and builders. They moved carefully, smiling and bowing in respect. Elder Marine stepped forward to greet them. His voice shook as he spoke. "You came for us, but not with war. Came with open hands." A human doctor named Eva stepped forward and bowed. "We heard your voice." That was enough. The Virulons began to gather first, watching, then joining. Children approached slowly. A translator knelt to speak gently in their language. When the child smiled, the whole crowd sighed in relief. The fear had started to fade in another part of the village. Elia watched as a human technician repaired their broken water system. The cavalry had damaged it weeks ago. She felt awkward at first, not knowing what to say. "You don't have to help," she said quietly. The technician looked up with a kind smile. "We want to. Why?" He paused. "Because we remember what it's like to be left behind." Ilya didn't understand at first. "But you're from Earth. You're strong." He gently tightened a valve. "Strength isn't in weapons. It's in showing up, even when it's hard." Ilya looked at him for a long moment. She had never heard such words from any other species. Maybe the humans were different after all. Back in the command center of the cavalry outpost, Commander Velk watched the humans moving across the planet, helping, not fighting. His face was full of disbelief. "They're not here to destroy us," Rack said quietly. "They're just fixing things," Velk growled. "They're embarrassing us. They're making us look weak." "No," Rack replied, almost in a whisper. "They're making us look wrong." Velk turned away, silent. He had built his power on fear. But now he saw something stronger, humanity's kindness backed by power. Later that night, Elder Marine walked with Sarah beneath the stars. She had come down from the fleet with the second team. When she saw him, her eyes widened. "Are you Elder Marine?" He nodded slowly. "Yes, and you are." She smiled, a little shy. Sarah Hart, my aunt was Naomi Hart. She used to speak about you often. Marion's eyes filled with tears. Naomi, she was like a daughter to me. She's Sarah. Looked down. She passed away a few years ago. Peacefully, but she never forgot this place. She always told us stories about Yalara, about you, and about the tree. Marion placed his hand on the tree trunk gently. Then she kept her promise. She sent you. Sarah nodded. We came because you mattered to her. And now, you mattered to all of us. Elder Marine stood near the edge of the village, looking up at the night sky. Earth's ships still floated above like quiet guardians. Their lights blinked gently, like stars watching over them. Peace had returned to Yalara, but something inside. Marion still felt empty. He missed Naomi Hart deeply. Years had passed, and she was gone now, but her memory lived in his heart. They had once shared dreams of peace, of connection between worlds. Now, Earth had come just like she said they would, but Marion never got to see her again. He touched the trunk of the tree they had planted together. I still hear your voice in the leaves, he whispered. But I wish I could tell you everything. I wish I could say thank you. In the nearby community center, Elia sat quietly with the other young Varellans. They were eating fresh food, brought by Earth's medics. For the first time in weeks, the taste was warm, real, safe, still. She felt heavy inside. She had grown up hearing stories of heroes, of the council, of peacekeepers, of brave leaders. But when trouble came, none of those stories helped. None of those heroes came. Only Earth did. She thought of her parents. They had passed away 2 years ago from a sickness the cavalry had ignored. She had never known how to fight. She didn't even know how to speak up. Now, Earth had shown up without weapons, and the cavalry had left. How did they do it? She whispered. How did they make such a big difference? Just by being kind. She felt small, weak, but something deep inside her began to stir. The next morning, Earth's engineers helped rebuild a broken bridge near the river. Elia watched them from a distance, then slowly walked over. Can I help? She asked. The head engineer looked up. Surprised, of course. She knelt beside him, holding parts, learning the tools. The work was new, but it felt good. It gave her a purpose. Later, she gathered a few of the village teens. The humans can't fix everything for us, she said, but maybe we can learn to help ourselves. One boy asked, How? We're not soldiers. We don't even know how to build. We can learn, she said. If they believe in us, we can believe in ourselves too. That evening, the humans held a small meeting with the villagers in the square. Admiral Leon Hart stood beside Sarah, translators around them. The humans offered to stay and help rebuild more systems quietly, with no control, just support. But then, to Leon's surprise, Elder Marine stepped forward. Thank you, Marine said, for saving us. Oh, we don't want to remain helpless. We want to learn. We want to stand, not with weapons, but with understanding. With strength of heart, Leon nodded, smiling. Yes, that's exactly what we hoped for. Marin turned to the crowd. If Earth could remember us, even after all this time, then we can remember who we are too. The villagers clapped softly, their eyes shining with something new, confidence. Later that night, Ilya sat near the river, watching the water reflect the lights from Earth's ships. Sarah walked over and sat beside her. You were helping today, Sarah said. Ilya nodded. I didn't know I could. You can, Sarah said gently. I used to feel lost too. I felt like my brother moved far away, not just in distance. But in spirit, I didn't know how to reach him. But then I remembered something simple. We don't need to shout, sometimes. We just need to whisper. And hope someone's still listening. Ilya smiled softly. That's what we did. We whispered to the stars, and Earth heard you, Sarah said. And now, others will too. Ilya looked up at the stars. They didn't feel so far anymore. Far away, on the edge of the village, Elder Marine looked up once more. He spoke softly to the sky, not expecting a reply. Naomi, you planted hope here. It took time, but it grew. As if an answer, a soft breeze moved through the leaves of the old tree. He smiled. You were right. Humanity listens. And across. The stars, through kindness, courage, and connection, the people of Yalara rose not with weapons, but with heart. They had once felt forgotten. Now they were ready to stand. Because when Earth came, they brought more than help. They brought hope. The sun rose softly over Shalara, painting the sky with warm colors. Elder Marine stood quietly near the tree he and Naomi had planted long ago. The village was alive again. Children played, families smiled, and the air felt lighter. But in his heart, Marine still carried a quiet sadness. He missed Naomi more than ever. She had been like a sister to him, a friend who showed him a new way to hope. She had promised Earth would come back. She had promised they would not forget. Now, Earth's fleet stayed in orbit, helping rebuild and protect, but Naomi was gone. He wished he could tell her what had happened, that the world she loved was safe again, far away. Aboard the Solara Prime, Sarah looked at the small holophoto on her desk. It was an old picture of Naomi Hart smiling warmly. Sarah's voice trembled as she spoke to herself. I wish I could have told her. We came back. We kept the promise. She thought about her brother Leon, the fleet, and the long years when Earth had turned silent. She had felt lost, like her connection to him was broken forever. But now something was changing. Earth was listening again. Back on Yalara, Marin was invited to speak with Admiral Leon Hart and Sarah at the village center. The people gathered to hear what Earth's leaders had to say. Leon stood tall and spoke with a quiet strength. We did not come because we wanted glory or power. We came because humanity remembers its promises. We came because we believe every life deserves hope and protection. Sarah smiled and added, You reminded us what it means to care. You showed us that even when we feel far away from those we love, we can reach out again. It takes courage. It takes hope. Mary nodded, his eyes shining. I once felt alone, forgotten, but now I know. No one is truly alone when others listen, when others come. That night, Marine sat beneath the tree, took a small, folded note from his Paquita letter Naomi had written before she left Yalara. He read it softly. If you ever feel lost, look to the stars. They are full of friends waiting to be found. Remember, we are never truly apart when we carry each other in our hearts. Marin smiled through tears. He looked up at the stars, bright and steady. Sarah stood nearby, watching him. She felt her own sadness soften. I know how it feels to be distant from someone you love, she said gently. My brother and I, we grew apart. But now, I believe we can find our way back. Because hope is stronger than silence. Marine reached out and took her hand. Thank you, Sarah, for bringing Earth back, for reminding us all to believe. In the days that followed, Earth's fleet began to prepare to return to their home. But the bonds they had formed would not break. Sarah and Marine stood together watching the ships rise into the sky. Will you come back? Marine asked. Sarah smiled. We always will, because when you call, Earth listens. When you need us, we come. As the ships disappeared into the stars, the people of Jalara felt something new inside them. Quiet strength, a deep hope. They were no longer distant, they were connected. Because sometimes when someone you care about moves far away, it feels like a silence between hearts. But if you keep the hope alive, if you believe in the promise of return, the silence can be broken. Earth had come back, and so had hope. The stars above Yalara shone brighter that night, and the promise was fulfilled.